Hey, hey. Woo, today is windy. It's Thursday, and I don't think my mic is working. Forgive me if you can hear me, but today I'm going to be very brief. Today I'm going to talk about the 7 years of being unemployed. One of the things that it has taught me is that the quality of life, or what I thought the quality of life was going, is what I refer to a quality of, as a quality of life, is that I need to have the things that everybody else have. The cars and the clothing and go on vacations and go out to eat, have a social life and whatever. I've now realized that those are the things that are just accessories. The heart of life is everything that is happening here and here. And in the past 7 years, I've taken the time to listen to my mind. I actually mind what goes on in my mind. My mind is the most expensive real estate. Whatever is in there, it has to be important. Whatever is in there has to be of high quality. I've taken time to listen to my heart. And I've noticed things like if I wake up with a thought that is negative, I'm likely to feel absolutely down. For some reason, I'll just feel depressed, like I don't want to do anything. I've tried everything to fill up my time with things that are helpful. I've romanticized my life, even cleaning the house. It's meditative for me. I can put on my headphones and listen to some things that are positive. Or even if I don't have headphones. In my mind, I know the thoughts that I entertain. I know the thoughts that I entertain. I have, in the past 7 years, I have made some good decisions that I didn't make before then. I was always busy working and didn't have time to take care of myself. Now I have different standards, and I have things that are constant that I do every day. I work out every day. It's it's not a luxury. I don't go to a gym and wear fancy clothes and go working out. Even if it's just a walk in the morning, I make sure that I walk in the morning. I get the sun, and I sort out the thoughts in my head, because sometimes I can wake up with anxiety. I can wake up with my problems all in my mind, and when I take a walk or I take my dumbbells and I work out outside, I'm sorting out what's happening in my mind. By the time I'm done and I come in the house and take a shower and whatever, I've sorted out the things that are in my mind. One of those things that I do is that I call it filing my things the right way. I can wake up with an idea and it could take me down the rabbit hole that I don't want to go into. I don't shun that anymore. I look at it and say, but what is it that makes me feel uncomfortable about this very topic? Something can only make you feel a certain way if it's some part of it is true to you. And then I take time to look at what exactly is it that is true about the subject that I'm uncomfortable with. One of the things I've noticed is that there are a lot of people who are in the same position that I am, and even worse. But those people's life are even worse because they make the wrong decisions all the time, or they continue on the wrong path all the time. They don't see the reason why they should stop. A person who drinks all weekend long and all week long because they don't have a job. A person who gives themselves to unhealthiness. Just when I say unhealthiness, I'm saying unhealthy eating, unhealthy behavior, unhealthy thoughts, everything unhealthy, just because they justified, well, I don't have anywhere else to go. This is how I entertain myself now. But the point is, you shortening your life by doing that. And even if you are shortening your life, by the time you actually meet death, by the time you actually are now spent and life has decided there's no more life in you, there's no reason for to have life in you anymore, you would have lived a life that is so full of ailments and pain and needing people, and people do not wanting to come to your rescue because you are the kind of person who doesn't make the right decisions. Have you ever seen somebody who's literally sick and people look at them and say, oh, he did that to himself? Oh, she did that to herself. It's a sad reality, but it happens. And these are people that gave up in life or gave up on life. And it's the most diabolical thing in the world. To give up on life, life is a gift. And nobody told us or promised that life is supposed to be this amazing thing with no hardship, with no struggle. We're not gonna wrestle with anything. Life is a gift regardless of what it shows up like. Life is a gift regardless of how we feel about it at the time. Because one thing about life, it's fair. As much as you experience hardship, you are going to experience enough joy to balance the hardship. But people who give up because something happened in life. I was 40 years old and I got laid off, and therefore, I don't see how I can go back to the job market. The job market doesn't work. There are no jobs anymore. Or I'm too old. People are saying that I can't get hired because of my age. I have all these things that are working against me. So now, I'm just gonna give up. I'm just gonna sit here. Here's the problem with just sitting there. You are relinquishing the power to make your life what it is that you want it to be. There are so many things that it requires us to just be thoughtful about our lives. If you don't find a job, that's fine. But be thoughtful about the people that you are around. Being drunk every day is not a nice thing. Nobody wants to sit with somebody who's always drunk or high all the time. You could be useful. Be kind to these people. If you're not wanting to find a job because you think you're too old and whatever's happening in the market is too depressing, you can't deal with it, fine. That does not give you the license to make bad decisions all of the time. It doesn't. You could be the person who doesn't apply for jobs anymore, but you could be the person who wakes up and runs in the morning. You could be the person who's very neat, somebody who takes a bath every day, somebody who's careful about the kind of company they keep. You could be the kind of person who's careful about the kinds of things that you listen to. You could start reading, for goodness sake. There are people who are in the worst positions than you are, but you sit there and you said, you know what, I'm not going to move on from this point. Life made me here. This is where I met my biggest pain. This is where I met my biggest loss. This is where I found the biggest disappointment of my life. So therefore, I'm not going to move on. It's a decision. It's a very disappointing decision. It's very disrespectful to this life. There are so many people who are laying in hospitals right now. People with tubes and machines that are keeping them alive. And those people are billionaires. They're trying to hold on to this thing that you're throwing away. But you think, nope, without a job, I can't move on. Nope, without the things that I used to have, I cannot move on. That is such a disrespectful way of looking at life. Not only disrespectful way of looking at life, but the most diabolical way of disrespecting yourself. The fact that you give up on life before it's even time. Honestly, you're looking for things that will make life wonderful, and you never think that after the hardest time, the wisdom of life will always give you something that will always make you forget that you went through the hardest time. Giving birth is the most painful thing in the world. But ask every mother who's holding a child. That moment, the moment they hold their own children, they forget the pain that was a couple of minutes before. The things that we demand out of life are the things that we don't demand out of us, and that is the problem.